Hello, my name's Michael Conneely, and this video is about if you have a weak sun and possible ways of healing it. It's actually an add-on video and blog to our November astrology and healing newsletter and its video and blog. And the reason I'm mentioning it now is, of course, because November the sun is weak in the heavens. From the start of this month until November the 16th, the sun is continuing his transit through the Vedic sign of Libra. And the sun is most deeply fallen in Vedic Libra. And so if you have, your sun in Vedic Libra, in your birth chart, in your Vedic birth chart, using the sidereal zodiac, which so powerfully and accurately describes if the sun is fallen, you will have issues. And we need to find out how we heal them. And I'll say at this point, my sun is in Vedic Libra, and so I feel this gives me those issues, but I've found healing recently, and I'm going to share that. The divine nature of the sun, and we must always bring into account the divine nature of every planet when we try to understand it, is like the king of our kingdom, the king who is prepared to make sacrifice for noble, kind and just purposes. The sun is like our divine charioteer who drives the chariot of self forward, and in his hands he holds the reins which go to the horses that pull the chariot, and those horses are the other planets. So if you think about it, if there's a weak charioteer, a strong horse can pull the chariot this way and that way, and the charioteer can't stick to the direction and stick to the needed strategy because the horse is stronger than the charioteer. This is what we're talking about if we have a weak sun. And the characteristics of a weak sun are supremely that we may not value ourselves, and we may sadly greatly lack confidence. We may sadly routinely expect that anything we do will fizzle out and fail. We may sadly expect that any gain we make we will lose, or some other tougher person will reach in and destroy it. So to have a weak sun is a major disadvantage in life. Of course, the sun is also an indication of father in our chart. And, if the fathering is weak, that is a terrible disadvantage. So I only met my father once. But interestingly, Maggie and I, my wife and I, go to these regular healing fairs in the wonderful west of Ireland where we live. And interestingly, a medium there said something that meant so much to me. She had like a demonstration in the afternoon, and the people gathered round, and she turned and said, "I'm very interested and drawn to work with you," as she faced me. And she said, "Was your father in the army?" And amazed, I said, "Well, yes, he was. He was a freedom fighter in the Polish army of resistance when the Nazis invaded." And she said, "Well, he's dead now, but he salutes you. He salutes you for having done so well to survive and achieve so much in the face of all the difficulties that your life has had." And that has sort of sunk in at me more and more in the couple of months since she said that. We need a decent fathering. And certainly weak fathering can produce the weak sun symptoms that I've just described to you. And there's a twist to the tale that if you have your sun conjunct Ketu, that your sun will be further weakened because Ketu, the south node of the moon, dissolves. He dissolves psychophysical material phenomena in this life, but for spiritual purpose, if we can see the spiritual meaning. So one can be even less confident and consistent if you have Sun conjunct Ketu. Another big difficulty is to have Sun conjunct the Lord of the 12th house. The 12th house, which negatively is loss or even drink, drugs and delusion. But positively, of course, if we can make it, is spirituality and indeed connection to foreign parts and indeed institutions. So to have a weak sun is very important, and get in touch with me for a reading if you feel this implies to you. But I want to close this video, which as I said is an add-on to the November Astrology and Healing magazine, video and blog, at this time of weak sun in the heavens, sun transiting through Vedic Libra, by telling you about some healing methods I've had following a year of being pretty ill, bringing it upon myself through overwork and bad diet to try and keep the overwork going. And, well, I had the most wonderful healing from a biodynamic osteopath who did craniosacral work as well. So, in other words, healing the flow of the spinal fluid from the crown to the root. Another very good way of healing weak sun can be dance, transformational dance, or transcendence dance. There's a woman locally, Claire Louise Nifton, who does classes and retreats in that. You look at her website. And if one's dancing, one can learn to express oneself more fully, more proudly, more powerfully. And in fact, people with weak sun can even be shamed away from dancing because they were told their bodies are sinful or whatever, or inappropriate. And another form of healing the weak sun is also sound healing. And get in touch with us if you feel some sessions of that. So chanting at certain vibrations whilst focusing on like the lower part of the body, the heart or the crown, can be very good for embodying you in your own power. And there are other sound techniques as well. And indeed they can be combined with dance. So what I've tried to give you is the astrology of weak sun. But I feel that the usual Vedic remedies are not that great, and people who do loads of mantra, I have to say, I sincerely think can become almost like robots or automaton and cut off from their self and their bodies. So I've tried to mention some healing techniques that will vibrantly connect you to your body, heal your weak sun, and connect you to your divine inspiration. So I hope this video has been helpful. If you liked it, please subscribe to our videos. My video subscribe button is below. And have a look at my November Astrology and Healing website, which explains why this is an issue now in November 2009. But of course, if you have a weak sun in your birth chart, it's always an issue. And it's a tragedy if healing does not come to you. Thank you.